You represent the heartbeat of professionalism in our country, in any society. I think it's important that we don't laugh through the conditions that we find ourselves as a people. You're the best of minds. Anyone who is able to train and become a lawyer in Nigeria represents the elite of our society. What's going on is an abandonment of responsibility by the elite of our country. The truth is, the people of this country, the larger population of the poor, are almost trapped in intractable poverty. Some 133 million are perniciously in that state of poverty. One thing that is fundamental are the choices that we make as a people. And guess what? The lawyers determining the rule of law of this society and what is rewarded, what is punished, are the heart of it. The question that I hope your conference this year would force each of you to ask is, should there be an evaluation of what our profession has done to provide the necessary guardrails for the behavior of our political class? It's got to be that we, as the privileged class, for as long as you're educated, you're a privileged class, we need to understand that this society lays prostrate for the poor right now, some 133 million of them, that a distorted incentive society is making it impossible for them to actually have a quality of life that is close enough to just being normal. And therefore, I am praying that as the legal profession, you can agree that there is serious discussions that are making it difficult for incentives to align in the direction where hard work is rewarded. This country has to go back to rewarding hard work. This idea that politics is the pathway to becoming wealthy is an anomaly. Any profession that is rewarding this kind of pre-Bengalist behavior cannot be a profession that cares about tomorrow. But I do know that I know some of you, and you're some of the best minds that we have in this society. So, stop trading this profession. Stop giving this profession over to a bunch of lousy politicians that want to destroy generations here and unborn. Don't invite me again. Even if you invite me, I may not come again. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Ladies. So I have continually opined that rule of law is one of our major reasons that this country is on its knees. I've said that. And while I do not undermine the effort of economic viabilities and resuscitation, while I do not mean to say that economic growth and development would help to keep this country afloat, but I can tell you, developing as a country without the strong pillars of rule of law is only going to amount to reversible, very reversible, easily reversible growth. And this is why the benefit or the gains of the Olusegun Obasanjo's administration the Umaru Musa Yar'Adua's short-lived government, and of course even the few great things that Goodluck Ebele Jonathan were able to achieve became non-existent or inconsequential, became almost blown into thin air because rule of law has not been enshrined in our day-to-day activities. And it's not just, when I say rule of law, some of you think it's about looking back. And like you heard now, the legal structure of this country must ensure that it takes its prominence in the running of things daily in the affairs of this country. There is no country in the world where the people are not dubious. There is no society in the world where there are no business people that want to shortchange the people, that want to bend rules, that want to look for the loopholes and manipulate the system. What keeps people in check in sane societies, or in most societies, or in the few societies that are surviving, is the rule of law. And if you remember what Mahatma Gandhi said, he published in an article sometime, I think in October 1925, Mahatma Gandhi, the great philosopher and humanist from India, in his own weekly newspaper, The Young India, he published what he called the 7 social sins that have now been evolved into now the very legendary 7 deadly sins. And I'll remind you with it to keep you abreast of what rule of law is. It says 7 deadly sins, Mahatma Gandhi: wealth without work. A lot of people are wealthy without work. It is the rule of law that keeps people in check. Everybody wants to make money without working. It is rule of law. People should be scared. There should be certain level of societal values and principles, rules, ethics, regulations that help society to ensure that nobody gathers enough wealth without work, pleasure without conscience. When you want to enjoy everything without considering whether this is for the good of the people. You want to enjoy, you want to live life, you want to have fun. Whereas you don't care if somebody is going to be hurt in the process. Science without humanity. And that's why all of these atomic bomb, chemical weapon, even in war, there are rules. There are rules that govern war. You can't. There are certain lines you cannot cross when you are fighting wars, where it's not be taken as though you have crossed certain lines, and then full force of world powers will be thrown against you. Rule of law. Knowledge without character. Having all of those, and I see that in Nigeria so well, where you see a lot of these people, professors, doctors, but all of them, no character. Our academic institutions or educational framework has now breeded some of the worst characters. When somebody says he's a professor, you are supposed to have come to an agreement that this one has reached zenith of understanding or knowledge or information, so to speak, or education, and you expect the person to possess certain level of qualities and certain things that cannot happen. But yet, the worst of us have been professors in this country. The greatest election ringers in this country have been professors and people from the academia. That is worrisome. Politics without principles. And that's what Oby Ezekwesili was saying here. No more principles. And whereas this position wants to do without principles, it is the rule of law that keeps you in check to ensure that there are principles. Somebody mentioned one time about cross-carpeting. Yes, it may not be a global rule, but every society must develop certain level of framework to deal with certain level of criminals in society. The way the law works in certain environments shouldn't be the same way the law works here. That's why you see, go to the UK, they have a fluid constitution. There's no written constitution everywhere. Every single event, every single situation, circumstance, make them deliberate of new rules or new regulation to ensure that things are done in the proper way. Right? Principles must be put in place. Commerce without morality. You want to make money, you don't care. Your goal is to make money. Rule of law will help to put people in check. Why do we have Dangote trailers all over without driver's license? Who is supposed to be held responsible for that nauseating situation of seeing over 90% of these drivers below the age, not regulated, not licensed yet, and these guys are still driving, and nobody's commerce without morality. Commerce without morality. You want to make money, but you don't care. You are investing money in fake drugs, and you don't care whether people are going to die of it. You have an hospital. You are not concerned about saving lives. It is money, education, health, are not supposed to be areas of society that should be left for business people alone. No. It is for the greater good of society. So the goal is to ensure that you develop society. You are part and parcel of the project, help society before anything else. Then finally, worship without sacrifice. Of course, this has been the goal. Mahatma Gandhi was a very strong advocate of his religion, and he spoke about the sacrifices. There is no religion where sacrifice. Even traditional worship, Islam, Christianity, Buddhism, Hinduism, every sacrifice is it. No, there is nothing you want to achieve. There is nothing you want to do without sacrifice. So all of this now, back to the situation. We as a people must begin to push. Rule of law will ensure that currently Nigerians do not trust the electoral system, do not trust the judiciary, and that's a very dangerous thing. When there is a society where people no longer trust the system, no longer trust the laws, it's a problem. People are going to take laws into their hands. People do not call police when there is a problem. People see police and fear. People matter go to court and you lose hope. No, there is a problem. And I pray that Oby Ezekwesili message gets not just to the Nigerian Bar Association, but to the Nigerian Judicial Council, the Nigerian Senate, the Nigerian House of Rep, and the Nigerian society at large. NMA, what are you doing about doctors and all of the activities that they are doing? What the Nigerian Society of Engineers doing? Buildings collapse and nothing happen. Nobody. We are just anyhow society. Yow. In words of Bobby, when we use transformer, I talk to the student, they understand. I talk to Malcolm, the gaga. Nigeria is just in gaga, a state of gaga. That's where Nigeria is. And it bothers me as a person. Most Nigerians live in Nigeria. They are not living in Nigeria because they cannot survive the economic hardship. Because for you to even produce 10, 15 million means that your head is working. However, 25 million to live in Nigeria, it is a lack of rule of law, where you can die like a cockroach, nothing will happen. Look at what is happening to Fina's sister. That is a problem. Lack of rule of law has made more Nigerians leave Nigeria, have made more Nigerians lost hope in Nigeria than the economic realities. Poverty is everywhere. I've been around the UK and a few other countries where I can tell you, people are so stranded, people are broke. But to an extent, there is ease because you trust that certain things. There are laws. Ordinary going to bar, there are ages. Even if you want to bypass it, but it doesn't give anybody just any more worry now. No. Somehow, the rules of society helps to streamline the excesses of individuals and systems to ensure that they comply with society. But when the society itself do not have its own principles, what are the people supposed to comply? We are living in a country where everybody do anyhow. And that is the first place we must begin. Elections, politics, everything. So it's not enough to just say this person. Who is the person? Rule of law. Somebody can come and fake result. Those days, or in senior societies, there's a certain level of lifestyle you would have lived before. You won't come out. You will just be behind and be a philanthropist. Because you know society will not accept you. But today, in Nigeria and most of our societies around Africa, it is the worst of us. You have to have even done certain level of criminality for you to be able to be accepted in the political class. That's the problem. How can you serve an office and then you're indicted for corruption and stealing? Let's leave this code name it corruption, stealing. Yet you'll be able to vie for higher offices. We have a problem. We have a problem.